Oh, it must be live on your end.
Yeah, it is.
Ain't on mine. Anyway, I'm Brent Leary.
I'm Paul Greenberg.
We are the CRM players, even if it still is not saying we're broadcasting on my end.
But it is on mine.
So that means the world must be seeing everything except me, which is
or I'm talking to myself and hallucinating.
Anybody out there, let us know if Paul is talking to himself or if he's just hallucinating, which would kind of be the same. Anyway, we are the CRM players. It's Thursday.
Yeah.
It's 3 p.m. Eastern. I don't know why I'm saying it like this.
I don't either.
You got to do something to keep yourself,
awake,
amused, I guess.
Awake.
But we are the CRM players. We weren't around last week. That's right. Last week,
good minutes.
There was no CRM players. There was a few good minutes. So we played a shell game because usually the irascible Esteban Kolsky does a segment on the CRM players. It's a monthly segment. It's usually the second Thursday of the month, and it's called Executive Advisory. No, I have to emphasize
that's E for Esteban. For those of you who can't figure that out,
it's a big E.
That's
for
right.
Esteban Kolsky.
Right.
But we couldn't do that because it was not an official CRM Players episode. So what we did was a few good minutes, and we just didn't give it a title.
Now the title stays with CRM Players. This was.
We would have done the same. It was literally the same thing we would have done without you coming in and asking your question.
That was it.
But so the streak is intact.
I guess.
I don't know what streak it is.
I was about to say if there's some streak you're thinking of because I have no idea.
Well, it could have been like a 56 game hit streak by your guy,
Jody. But what was the streak?
We have never done a CRM Player show unless we were both on it.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah,
never will. No, that's why. That was why. Thank God for a few good minutes, because there's another show that can actually plug in.
It can kind of slot in.
That's right.
You know what else we can slot in?
What?
The moment of Finn.
Oh my God, here he is, friend. We were so worried about you. We were worried about you, man. We can't do shows without you.
This one looks like a mix of
one.
something, yeah. Ing Sabin hasn't been sober. This looks like something I saw on the Three Stooges, to be quite honest with you.
I'm just that's right, it's Stoogian.
Pig, it's not pig Latin, but
No.
So do you have any kind of wild guess?
I'm kind of working on it here. I've got
if anybody in the green room wants to help the venerable Paul Greenberg, just put in the
this one is chat. Really hard. You might get me on this one, Sven, but I'll see. If he's going to arcane dialects, I'm not going to ever get those. But if he's in language groups, I got a shot.
Does Sven offer like a phone a friend option or anything like that?
Let's see, Michelle. All right, I don't know. This one's got me. I'm guessing, and when I say this, I mean Indian. I don't mean Indian though. I mean like Native American, but it could be another country's equivalent of a Native American kind of language.
Wow.
I'm guessing. I mean, I don't really know. I'm just this is a guess based on the two words in there, and Hikmah and Utawa, right? And Utawa is the one that's really triggering it, but I don't. I'm not sure, but I'll say again. I'm gonna say Indian, but again, more in the Native American idea, meaning it could be Eskimo, which is in related and things like that too. It could be like Uglit, some of these
Uglik. That's a new one.
Uglit, I think is Eskimo language. Inuit is another one. I mean, it could be.
You know what? He's. I think he's already answered you.
Okay.
Did you see this?
No. Javanese. Okay. Well, that's reasonable. They're a Pacific Island kind of. Yeah.
So wait a minute? It sounds like you were in the right ballpark.
I was in the right ballpark, really. They're actually a native group in the Pacific Islands. I mean, they're
Let's leave it up to Sven. Sven, should we give this one a win for the venerable Paul Greenberg?
I wouldn't, to be honest. I would say that I get honorable mention level, maybe, but not a win.
Let's see what Sven let us know. A win or honorable mention?
It's a native language, and that's where I was kind of trying to go. A native, that's what I say, not Indian, but Native American, Eskimo. But I was really focused on Atlantic, not Pacific, to be fair to this. But that said, it's in the ballpark of the type.
Okay, Sven, yes or no? We got to move on here. We can't waste more time on it. Although that was good, but you know what? It gave me enough time to do.
No,
I told you right before we started that I saw something that was really interesting. So apparently on Facebook, you have your memories thing.
Yeah. Oh, I saw that. I saw that too.
13 years ago today.
I saw that this morning.
If I can only, I really hate when I have like my MacBook Pro and my Mac Mini, and when you move your cursor, it moves all the way over on the multi. Yeah. So annoying. But anyway, 13 years ago today, this picture was taken.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't have that one.
Oh, no, awesome. This is 13 years ago. Do you know? I know you know where this was taken.
Yeah, that was Yankee Stadium. I remember that.
But guess what? This is so good. Guess why we were all up in New York at Yankee Stadium?
It was some technology thing.
It was some CRM conference.
Oh, that's right. CRM Evolution. We did something at Yankee. That's right.
It was because this was August. Remember, it used to be August, New York.
And we would all complain because it was so hot.
Well, we weren't. You didn't look like you're doing a lot of complaining right there.
That was actually fun. That was the most fun thing.
That was great because that was the first year of the new Yankee Stadium being open, 2009. Yeah. Wait a minute, that wouldn't make sense.
No, it can't be.
13 years.
That's
2013.
Yeah,
I guess it was 2013. Why? But it is the new. It was the new.
Yeah, we're at the new Yankee Stadium, but it had been open.
And we were in the fancy seats with all the good food.
Yeah, I remember that. I mean, I remember. I remember being at Yankee Stadium, and I remember Ray, with his weird, sort of odd, unintentional photo bomb.
By the way, Sven is giving you a win.
Thank you, Sven.
Sven is giving you a win. That rhymes.
I'll take it, man. I know I was in the ballpark, but it wasn't, so to speak.
Literally, no, you are literally in the ballpark right there in that picture.
That was great.
Yeah, good memories. I like that.
That was a good one. I actually had a memory. The one that popped up on my screen was you and me about to launch something with CRM Playaz 13 years ago.
I have no idea what that would have been.
Hold on. Why we're going.
While you're doing that, we'll continue the show. I got a couple of housekeeping items. See, I said it with no hesitation on that one.
I think you finally nailed it.
I felt good. I felt like I had. Oh, before we do that, let's say a quick hello, and because I don't recall. No, not you, Sven. We know who you are. Richard Dennis. I don't know if I know Richard, but thanks for joining us. And only way for you to have a great conversation is to, I think he meant chat with yourself.
Yeah, chat with yourself. Well, that's I'm not sure how to take that actually.
It could be positive, but it also kind of feels a little bit narcissistic.
Impulse. Right, it could be a pretty serious insult.
Yeah, it's a little narcissistic there,
But also just like a straight out insult to you and me.
There's that. Okay, well, we'll figure out if that was good or bad by the end of the show. We'll see. Anyway, while you're looking, I'll do my housekeeping.
Yeah.
I had never said that before.
I am not finding it though.
Okay, so next week is actually a pretty big week for the PPN. I'm actually doing a few good minutes with our buddy Marco Castellana from Microsoft.
He is such a cool guy.
And I made him look like a superhero character in here. You know what? There's a giveaway to what how old this image is? Do you see there's a giveaway?
Yes, I do. On his lapel. His lapel.
So yeah, he is the VP of Products, Core AI, and AI Futures at Microsoft now. Let's just
Yes.
leave it at that.
As opposed to his lapel.
I literally just saw that. I will see if he sees it when he checks it. All right. And then of course, next week, a week from today, there will be no CRM players. We are doing a pilot episode.
Right.
Yeah, we're doing a pilot. We're piloting. We're trying something new out. We have all these shows, and we have all these show hosts, and we have all these show guests. It's just a lot. And we decided, why not try to bring us all, as many of us together once a month and just go over the what got our attention over that month. We call it the last call. What do you think?
I actually am really excited about that. I mean, this is like a giant happy hour for all the hosts of all the shows. Well, I think most of the shows.
Yeah, not everybody's going to be able to make it all.
Right, right. Not everyone will be able to show up, but it's going to be really cool.
I think so. But I want to do this. I want to apologize to Dave Smith because of all the little cartoon images of all of us.
Yeah.
His by far is the absolute worst.
He looks like, what's that actor, Lou Gossett?
Well, Lou Gossett, at 80.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, Dave is only like in his 40s or something.
And Dave's just a little more robust than that individual.
Well, yeah.
Muscular.
Yeah, there may be some AI issues with skin pigmentation, so to speak. Yeah, he's not. But anyway, so I'm on the end as if you didn't know. Then I'm like, I don't know why Ron Miller is smiling as much, but we're glad he's smiling. It's a good thing. I don't know what, you look pensive.
I also look Japanese.
Well,
I really look like a Japanese CEO.
And for the life of me, I have no idea why Shashi and Pete are like 7 feet tall. But
I know.
Yeah.
And Shashi's got an additional 2 inches on his neck.
Yeah, he's got a rather long neck in there.
Yeah, it's like looks like a bobblehead.
Yeah. But otherwise, everybody else is kind of in the ballpark. Rebecca, Jody is. I think Jody, maybe Jody or Christy or Steve. Steve looks good. Steve Reese.
Steve kind of does. Steve is sort of there.
Yeah. Todd looks like Todd. I would say he's probably maybe the most. He looks like himself. Anyway, last call next week. Same time next week. And join us because we don't know what we're going to be getting into. Maybe a comment from somebody watching might spur something. So join us 3 p.m. next week. Last call, and have a beverage in hand too.
Yes.
Maybe we should all do that. We should all try to.
Well, that's easy enough to do.
All right. So what do we have?
Actually, though, I think there's one other thing we should announce, even though we don't have an absolute hard date for it, but it's on the cusp.
Okay.
We're finally going to be launching episode 1 of pilot episode of Beyond the Playbook Unfiltered.
Yeah. I mean, fill them in on what exactly that is real quick because we got to keep moving.
So very simply, Steve Reese, the former CIO of the Phoenix Suns, Renaissance Man Deluxe, we recorded the pilot episode of it, which has an incredible conversation, which you will hear and probably see a clip of soon enough.
Yeah.
At Steet. And the whole show was recorded at Steet, and Steet commenting the conversation, which was the bulk of it. But it's a great pilot. The idea of the show is very straightforward. He's going to talk about what goes on behind the scenes in the world of sports that you don't know, that you don't hear about, and he's going to be very straightforward and blunt about it. To put it mildly, his character is sweet, but he is absolutely ruthlessly honest. So you're going to hear quite a bit on the business of sports that you might be watching a game, but you're never going to see what this is all about until you watch him.
And that's a great show name, Ruthlessly Honest Stories. That's catchy. Ruthlessly Honest.
That'll be Kaltura's future. Ruthlessly. without Ruth.
Wow. Now that was good. That was a good one. All right. Do I have anything else before we move on to?
Well, two last things. Next week on 22nd, Game On, 2 p.m. Eastern, and on the 23rd, Rated PG, 11 a.m. Eastern. Stay tuned.
Any info?
There's still something tentative with Game On, so I'll leave it out. But there's a lot to talk about in the current world of gaming, and also the association with the B2B world. I'm going to have two great guests on Rated PG, and that's still a work in progress as a show. I'm eliminating a segment, but I'm going to have Leela Kapoor Patel, who's going to be talking about life. Literally, what's life going to be like? What's life in the B2B world when you're a mom, when you're active doing a lot of other things, when you're just when you're building a family? What is life like? And just a real deal. And then on the other side of it, we're going to have a person who's not in the B2B world, Scott Rogers, who is a long-standing friend of ours, who also will be talking about the Federal Emergency Management, FEMA administration, and first response and emergency management, which he has worked for the last several years. So it's going to be highly disparate subjects, really interesting on each end, and come listen, because it's going to be practical, and also you get the scoop on how emergency management and some of the programs work, which, given the world we're in, this is going to be quite telling.
Given the world we're in, a quick one for you before we bring on our people. They're our people, not really our guests. They're like our people.
Yeah, our buds.
Do you know what happened today, or maybe it happened yesterday?
I don't know. Lots of things.
A big, I don't know if the word milestone really fits it, but a big milestone of sorts took place by the way of the U.S. total debt.
Oh, yeah, I did see that.
We hit the 40 trillion mark.
Yeah.
40 trillion.
Yeah.
Now we're not, record. This isn't Stump the Godfather.
No, there's no point in it.
But do you know how much debt we currently incur every second?
No, what is the number? That's a good question.
Every second, $91,500. Every hour, every minute, 5.49 million. Every hour, 329.6 million. Every day, almost $8 billion of debt. Every day.
Do you realize we had a surplus when Clinton left office?
That was what, 26 years ago?
Yeah. So think about it. We went from a surplus. It's not like we went from some negative to start. We actually had a significant surplus. I don't know what the number was, but in today's dollars, who knows? But we had a surplus. And in Clinton left office in 2000. Yeah. So in 26 years, we've gone from a surplus to $40 trillion worth of debt.
Look at that per household. Every stinking household in the US of A, almost 300,000 in debt. There's a lot of households. That's a lot of debt per a single household. But then when you multiply it, that's how you get $40 trillion. And I just thought it was an astounding number. And I just wanted to throw it out there before we moved on. Oh.
Okay.
All right. Now, let me get rid of this. Now, this is actually a doubleheader day on PPN, because we had Ron Miller doing Fast Forward right before this. He had G2 Patel, who is the president and chief product officer for Cisco, on. I can't. We're going to get some clips up of that shortly. So that was like the opening. And now it's not like a Twilight, doubleheader, because it's still a lot of light out there.
Yeah, but it's paid admission independently.
Yeah.
You don't get 2 for 1. No 2 for 1.
So we originally we still are. We're going to have our, what do you call it? take the lid off. I always have to question if it takes something else, but
I'm just calling Michael. I'm calling him Michael the Lid Wu now.
Taking the lid off of AI with Dr. Michael Wu. But now we're also going to have an additional before we even get to him, because as it so happens to be the case, guess what's literally just around the corner? CRM Magazine 2026 CRM Industry Awards.
I'm looking forward to that.
You know what else I'm looking forward to?
What's that, Brent?
The awards, of course. But for the 4th year in a row, guess what?
What?
Well, you already know.
No.
Yeah, you do. Thanks for playing along.
Yeah, I have to.
Look at that. Oh, that looks so good.
I know.
We are doing, for the 4th year in a row, the CRM Industry Award Reveal Show right here on the CRM Players. Presented by the CRM Players. I like that. August 31st, 3 p.m. So that's Monday, August 31st, 3 p.m. Eastern. The very first place you can find out who won what, because I think the actual magazine comes out the next day. So
now, just for those of you who care, there will not be a CRM Players that Thursday because you'll be traveling, if I'm correct. But there probably will be a watch party somewhere in between from the Genesis conference.
Yes, from experience. You know what they actually, and by the way, when we say the Genesis, you almost sound like you said Genesis conference. It's like, there'll be no, are they back together?
No, Collins will be a guest on our show.
Well, maybe not Phil, but guess who is a guest on our show right now to talk about
Who would that be?
The one and only, the man, or one of the two men I've been butchering their names for almost 2 decades. I finally think I got it right. Is he the publisher?
Yeah.
I thought, yeah.
Publisher, editor-in-chief.
Yeah, he's shaking his head. So I think I got it right. Publisher of CRM Magazine, the one and only Bob Fernekees. Hey, Bob.
Hey, guys. How are you?
Sir.
Oh, yeah, great. God, you brought me down memory lane. I think I actually remember the first CRM Playaz you guys did at CRM Evolution in New York.
Wow.
You were in a room, and it was set the wide way, not the, it's a rectangular, and you guys it was like a thin room, and for some reason it was set so you had a huge left and right. But I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that's the first podcast type thing I think I ever witnessed, at least definitely witnessed live.
I mean, the first,
did we record that? Was that recorded?
I don't think it was recorded.
Okay, so it was more of like a performance artist kind of thing.
You
guys were riffing with the audience, and it was a weird setup where you had like on the left and right were like the wings that were.
Yeah, I remember that. It was like you said, it's a long room.
Yeah.
Well, we did. What was the name of that thing where we had a CEO, C-level executive come up, and he had a
C-level SmackDown.
The C-level SmackDown. We did it, and it was Sanjay Dalakia did it with us, and he actually beat us on it too.
So that's where we did that.
That was Sanjay.
Wow.
With Sanjay, not with.
Well, I know the very first one we did was with the guy who's now the governor.
Who's like famous. I forget his name. But
anyway, so that was something, and you guys kind of caught on to something, and now you got a whole empire going, and I'm shocked at the depth of content that you guys are putting out, but not really. I mean, hey, listen,
no, we are. We're totally.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah,
that's a lot of work. Yeah, that's for sure. But one thing that they didn't do on the cover, which I didn't realize until we just posted it, was the other thing about these awards is that they're the 25th annual awards as well.
Wow, that's
now. I don't think we have that on the cover. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but you know what? I think it's coming. I think Lynn says they are working on it.
Okay.
So as soon as because it's 25 years of doing the awards is pretty amazing.
Absolutely.
Talk about like kind of how the awards have evolved over that time.
Okay, so just to kind of fill everybody in on the awards, there's a lot of awards out there, and one of the things that we did in the beginning was we felt that we were going to, not make this a People's Choice Awards, which is like a popularity contest, or not make it any kind of pay to play. Hey, join this awards for X amount of dollars. We were going to go out to, industry experts like you guys who have contributed all along. And, we usually have about a dozen. I think this year we have 9 people that, get to, say their spiel and come up with our categories and introduce new companies. I think we've got 11 categories this year. Okay, well, all right, great. And we also have the conversation starters, which are companies and technologies which will probably be acquired quickly if the past is any judge of the future. But they're new companies. They are sort of the disruptors to the legacy companies that are the award winners. And now sometimes the disruptors can also be the legacy companies. But it's been we're trying to keep these things as as honest as possible. Anybody wants to read, who contributes to this, those are the people. We don't put our finger on the scale. And we try to show sort of a map of the market, hey, these are the companies that are leading things in these categories at a large scale. And here's some companies that are, coming around from underneath. So anyway, so that's the whole idea. We ask our analysts, hey, who would you recommend and why? So, we try to give people a short list, so that's probably a really good way that, you should be considering these companies if you're looking to, make a move in one of these areas. So that's kind of how we did it. The magazine itself will be 30 years old in a year.
Wow.
These are only 25 years old because we didn't start them in the beginning, kind of added them along the way, which was 25 years ago. And God, you guys have been there the whole time, and there's been a few people leading the industry, and how much has the industry, changed. But, the awards, hey, how do we do business better? And for anybody that's involved in, using technology and, sales, marketing, customer service, CX, you got to take a peek. And we'll have the awards open, during the show or right after the show next week. So, or is that next week? Yeah.
The 31st. It's a week from Monday.
2 weeks.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
I mean, I highly recommend that people pay close attention too, because you got to realize you're dealing with not only the, Bob and Len, and you're also dealing with the 9 analysts who, I mean, that's decades and decades and decades of experience with these companies. Right. And so you're going to get some pretty, for a company to show up on the list of an award winner, there has to be something that a significant number of those analysts agreed upon without talking to each other, basically. So,
I think that's a big selling point is you guys, companies can't apply. So they can't, try to like put themselves in it. You just rely on the analysts that you've really, I think, built relationships up for years. So you trust them because of the kind of time and experience you've had. They've either written for you or spoken at events, and you kind of know them and you know how they work. And so being able to have that level of trust to let them say, just give us your top 5 for each category. If it's not a category that you're comfortable with, don't worry about it. That's big because I've learned recently a lot of these kind of magazine award things. There's a lot of money being exchanged to be involved with this, and you guys don't do that. You don't.
No, we don't do that. And I'm glad you brought that up because we're like the typical old-fashioned journalistic, mindset for a magazine. Okay, we report. We don't claim to be the experts. we know who the experts are. We claim to know who the experts are. And, we interview them and pick their brains. So, it's the old fashioned way of doing things. And, I'm not sure if this is, acceptable to say anymore, but we used to say a Chinese wall in between editorial and advertising. You just can't have one influence the other, because it never goes well in the long run. And we've been around for 30 years. So,
yeah,
there you go.
All right. So like we said, I think I have it. Yeah. And let me put this guy back up. So once again, we are going to have the reveal, the very first place you could find out who won what category. And along some other things too, because as Bob mentioned, this is the 25th year anniversary. There's a lot of historical data that we might be able to plug into and have some fun with, and see who won what way back when, or any trends that have taken place. So we'll be digging into that, and also giving out the awards. So once again, Monday, August 31st, 3 p.m. Eastern. Be there, and we'll do the whole full hour. 11 categories in the conversation starter. Just Bob, just explain that one just a little bit, please.
Yeah, the conversation starter is sort of, here's the issue that happens every year is that some of the large companies dominate their categories for years, if not decades. Okay, that's just, they've got market share. They're driving things. Conversation starters are, we're looking for newer companies that are going to be the disruptors. And, next week or 2 weeks from now, when we'll pick some conversation starters out of the past. Now, we were joking around that those people or those companies have a way of getting acquired, but some of them, I'm sure, have progressed. So, we can kind of trace those over the year. That would be fun. Hey, this is what we predicted years ago. Did it come to fruition, or how did we fare? And yes, so it'll be fun. We'll try to make it a little different. Everyone can obviously read the issue for themselves or download the issue for themselves. But we'll try to make it a little different to compare and contrast with the previous 24 years. So, and especially you guys' contribution to it. There's gotta be some fun stuff in there.
That would be awesome, actually.
Absolutely.
And just to reiterate,
where are they now?
Just to reiterate, this is a print edition. It's not just online.
It's not just online. It's a print edition. We've unfortunately, we've already secured our mailing list, so you can't sign up for the print edition, but you can sign up and just have the PDF actually emailed to you if you want to take a look at the package. Anything that's in the PDF is also online, which makes it searchable and easy to consume. And you'll see it in our next newsletters and all of these things. We'll be promoting it as best we can. But so yeah, thanks to you guys for really being 25 or 30 year just
Jeez.
friends of the magazine. I mean,
I'm feeling older every time you say it.
I know.
It went fast. I mean, so much has happened, and now we're into the AI,
which is fast, even faster. So
things are going to move even faster. That's for sure.
All right, so we will see you in about a week and a half. You and Lynn, for the reveal show. Thanks again for making time today, and
can't wait.
We'll see you in a bit.
And thank you guys for doing what you do, because none of us. It's a far darker world without you guys.
Wow, thanks.
Okay, well, we can end our show now.
I was going to say, said no one ever before now, but all right, we'll see you in a bit.
Everybody that knows you loves you.
We'll see you in a bit.
All right, see ya.
Hi, Bob.
That was nice.
It was very, very nice.
Very nice, but we're really interested in it. And I think 25 years, that's that the longest running CRM kind of award?
Yeah, I topped out at 19, and I think I was second longest. So
yeah,
they are it.
Very cool. Well, that's what it's time for now.
So we have a tornado watch here now.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So not a warning, so I'm not too worried.
It's kind of like taking the lid off the weather kind of.
Well, I have my camera up just in case I see a sudden increase.
Yes, yeah, I've done that before, so absolutely. Let's see if there's any kind of tornado going on with Dr. Michael Wu as we bring him on for the monthly Taking the Lid Off AI segment. Hey, Mike.
Tornado.
Hey, everyone.
The human tornado.
I don't think I want to be seen as a tornado.
Wait a minute. That's not
everything.
Is that a Kango hat or is that a regular? Oh, it is. Okay. I was getting worried there for a second. It kind of
it's a Kango hat.
It's the angle, I guess.
Yeah.
With a C. With a C.
Ah.
Cap.
Yeah, this one is a little curved.
Yeah, it has like a baseball cap.
Or it's a cap with a K or a Kango with a C.
Either way, we're glad to see you. All right.
Yeah, it's K. I think the brand.
No, I'm literally combining cap and Kango.
Yeah.
That was kind of the idea. Hybrid.
All right. So we didn't have anything in particular, but there's so much going on. You know, one thing I've been digging into a lot, I'd love to get your take on it. It seems like Grok has just taken the world by storm. Not just Grok Bot, which is like the harness thing, but Grok 4.6. People are raving about it, and Elon has already announced 4.7 is coming out very shortly. What do you make of all this Grok stuff?
Yeah, I think they're making huge progress, and I think the cursor acquisition is made it possible because that just gave them a tremendous amount of training data to teach the AI how to code, right? Because people use cursor to as a platform is IDE, right? So all the software engineers use them to write code, and that just created this flywheel, a feedback loop, a positive feedback loop that more people use it, that generates more data to train the better AI to write better code, and more people will use it, right? Because they're better, right? So that just creates that positive feedback, right? And that will just and it's a tremendous success for them. So congratulations to people at Cursor and Elon Musk and his team.
What makes Grok as opposed to just another AI?
Grok, I mean, I think Grok, it's more of a bot rather than just a chat bot, right? I mean, so the Grok bot is, I think built as an agent and in mind, I think early on when OpenAI or Gemini or Claude, they were all built as a chatbot to begin with, to respond to your questions, to answer questions, right? But then, there's an advantage of being a latecomer, right? Coming out later because you have seen all the, you don't have to kind of go through that process. You can leapfrog, right? You can directly build an agent. So the Grok bot is actually sort of like that, and it's actually made to be I would say like more consumer friendly because they explicitly hide some of the the kind of more technical back end. So if it needs to, you give them a question and give them a task, it's going to do it, right? I mean, I would say like if you use Claude or ChatGPT, right, they would generate kind of the chain of thought, and if needed, they will generate the code, right? But with Grok, I mean, their Grok bot, right? Basically, their idea is like, well, I mean, you guys consumers don't really need to know that. Right? They just need the work done. That's it. That's all they want. I mean, if you want to treat us as a tool, then this is the tool that help you get the job done. Right? It's the same idea. Clayton Christensen's kind of like, people don't want a hammer, right? They want a hole in the wall.
Yeah, jobs to be done.
Painting, right? So that's what. Yeah. So I think that's the idea, right? I mean, people want the work gets done. I mean, how they do it, it really doesn't matter. And I would say that with the caveat, right? It doesn't matter until something goes wrong, right? When something goes wrong, then they're going to say, okay, why did it go wrong? Right?
Yeah.
Now I have to inquire, right? And maybe that's something that will come, or something went wrong, and they will kind of, well, okay, now show me the reason. Why do you come to this decision? Because that's not what I would have done. This is not the result I expect, right? Maybe that's when those more of the back kind of explicitly hidden chain of thought will reveal themselves. But at the current as it is right now, I think they explicitly kept that hidden. I think probably it's also maybe a strategic kind of move as well to kind of prevent this distillation attack, because people could just scrape your answer, right? They could just, if I could just keep asking a question and keep getting all that chain of thought, right? And now take all those answers to train another AI, right? Using distillation technique, right? I have I know how to answer every single one of the questions, right? This is how you answer these type of questions, and I use that to train another AI, right? So that's essentially what distillation attack is, right? And
Well, so I guess one of the things that I just don't know the answer to, but it seems to me on the surface of it, what Grok does is similar. I'm not saying it's identical to Claude Cowork, which does do tasks, or OpenClaw, which does complex tasks. Although OpenClaw sort of doesn't do well standing on its own. It needs an external AI to, kind of move it. But
it's a scaffolding on top of
the
language model, right? I mean, the OpenClaw without any LLM is just a scaffold. It doesn't actually know how to kind of do anything.
But ultimately, it does it both well and poorly. Meaning, I've used it for some things here, and it was costing me a fortune, and it was because it decided to, it decided this, right? To use I don't know what to call it, use an attribute or use something that effectively every single time it polled something, it looked at every single previous poll's memory. So every single time it polled something, it was using like 33 million tokens, right? And then it was polling every 15 minutes, right? So on the other hand, you fix it, and then it says, because you don't need the memory at all. You fix it, and all of a sudden, it costs you nothing. But it made the decision to do that, not me, right? So
we gave them the permission, right? So things but we also did not tell them not to do it, right?
Right.
So it's ultimately, I think the responsibility and the accountability is still on the human, because I think part of the big failure of a lot of these agentic AI, a lot of people say it didn't work well enough, right? Is precisely because the prompt, the instruction that they're given to these AI agents weren't specific enough. And very often it is the lack of what we call the negative prompt, right? I know what I want you to do, and I can tell you exactly what I want you to do. But people are not very good at telling you what you cannot do, right? Or you have to do this under these constraints. I want you to, I don't know, make me $1 million, but you can't steal, you can't violate law, you can do there's for every goal, right? There's probably thousands of constraints that you put in there in order to we humans intuitively kind of understand what's legal, what's ethical, what's all those things are kind of ingrained in our mind, right? But AI doesn't have those contexts, right? So you need to specify, like, okay, when you pull something, okay, what's the most comprehensive to pull something? It's to pull everything, right? So we did not actually tell them not to do that, right? So therefore, its natural instinct is to give you the best answer you can, and that's you did not tell them not to waste token. You did not tell them not to, right? So, so that's all. So that's kind of the little bit of it is on they decided, but it's also the fact that we did not tell them not to do it, right? So
can you talk a little bit about I'm kind of really interested in Grok, not just the technology, but it seems the positioning that they may have in terms of gaining on the leaders. And and the potential for a company to challenge not only OpenAI and Anthropic, but even like some of the bigger players. Does I guess you got the combination of SpaceX, XAI, and I don't know where Tesla fits in, but the Elon conglomerate. How much potential power can he / the company have overall? Because it seems like
huge.
Yeah, go ahead. Talk a little
Huge.
about that.
I mean, I think that I think we think that AI is really, really powerful and great right now, right? Wait until you see robot comes online, right? I mean, right now, everything that the AI learn is from text that we have written about the world, right? Everything it has learned is about what we have written about the how the world operate, how the physics or chemistry or everything, right? It's written by us, right? But as you all know, right? Maybe some, probably human language is actually not a perfect language in the sense that you cannot describe everything in excruciating detail, right? I could show you like that's why it's very often the case that if you ask AI to generate image, you give it a prompt, very specific prompt. You say, I want the sun to be here, I want a reflection of this window, and then like you can be very, very specific, like write like I don't know, maybe 20 pages if you want, right? It will give you an image, right? And if you submit that prompt again, it could generate another image that's slightly different than the first one. But it will be both of those images are perfectly consistent with that first, with the same prompt, right? They're perfectly consistent, right? And it's the same thing. Sometimes like when you say like, a person standing here wearing a dark navy blue, outfit with the t-shirt underneath, right? Something red t-shirt underneath, right? I mean, you can't not specify how wrinkle or what's the creases. This just impossible, right? You cannot describe everything, right? So the beauty of having an access to the physical world, right, through the autonomous driving and the robots means that they have that cover.
Let me ask you this though.
Yeah.
So let's say, because what the immediate case of what you just described is actually much simpler, which is the upload of an image to LLM, right, where they can see the image. But the question really is I literally use the term "see the image," right? Meaning, and they're going to pick out a lot more detail than I could ever have described it with, which it does. I mean, that's one of the reasons I use them all the time, even though it costs me quite a bit more. But how are they seeing? When I say that, no, I know they're only seeing according to the instructions that humans have given it in text at some point. Right? Meaning that they might see things that we didn't describe, but somewhere it's based on human textual input. So if they're a robot and they're out there, how is that going to be different?
Okay, the difference is that like they are seeing the world. Right now, when we look at the images, right, we look at the text that's associated with this image, right? If there's we go image search on Google or some other places where we see, like, there's language that's associated with those image, right? A frog, I show you a picture of a frog or something like that, right? Or a fish or something. So all different kind of fishes and so on, right? So it will associate the text. That's why you're able to say, give me a picture of a fish, right? Or something. You will know what a fish look like because they've seen a lot of those fishes, right? But it doesn't have the ability to kind of say, well, what other fishes out there? Can I go look at other more fishes, right? Whereas the robotic, as a human being, right, we can actually go out and explore the world, right? It's like if you have never eaten like or tasted a certain foods and certain culture, right? It's almost impossible for people to describe what those taste like to you, right? Because you just have to taste it, right? Kind of, it's the same thing. You have to, like, the physical world require experience that are it is impossible to capture at detail using human languages. Whereas when they actually have robots and the self-autonomous driving, right? Kind of essentially autonomous driving, it's essentially a robot with four wheels, right? So yeah, it's a kind of robotic, right? So you can actually go and see the world, understand how the physics of the world, you will derive a sense of this, what we call the world model, right? Whereas this, human language can never describe fully. It would know that, like kind of, the nuance of, say, I don't know, at a work situation, let's say in a factory or something, right? Some boxes here and there, right? And it would pick up things that, language can never describe, right? This is kind of, like, something like looks like this is maybe this maybe a danger is coming, or a tornado may be coming. The box start to shake or something like that. There's some. How do you know it's a tornado? Maybe just a big truck driven by. I mean, there's the sensory, the auditory kind of data is not in consensus with that, right? Because I would have heard a truck driven by if it was like that. So I think that's the type of thing, right? You can never describe the physical world fully using human languages. So what the AI currently, everything, no matter how powerful they are, right? No matter you have like Claude, even if you get to, I don't know, Claude like 7 or all the language model can only do so much, because it will never have the detailed physical world information. And when basically robots and autonomous driving, right, it enabled them to bridge that gap. They will have a physical understanding of the world, right? They will understand what human intents are by just looking at your face, right? It doesn't even matter what you said anymore. You could be, it's almost kind of like they would have, based on what you said and what your expression, your body language, your micro expressions, right? It will actually be able to read you much more better than if you were just, taking the words out of your mouth as facts, right? So I think that's the type of, I would say, advantage that I think all of these frontier lab cannot surpass, right? Maybe Google can, because they have similar type of kind of, but they can't even get their language model straight, so like to be in a competitive level. So I think they need to manage that a little bit better. So
do you think that means Grok, let's say in 3 or 4 years, it might be leading the race here over some of the Anthropics, the OpenAIs, the Googles? I mean, is it because of that combination of things that he has at his disposal and the $60 billion acquisition of something like Cursor? He has all the ingredients that make it work like that?
Sure. I mean, but there's nothing preventing, say, I don't know, OpenAI or Anthropic go acquire another autonomous driving technology, right? Or robotic technology, right? I mean, this is the beauty of the business, or the free economy, right? Everybody could do the same thing, right? If you have the same kind of economic resources, you can actually go out and do things to, you disrupting me, hey, I could disrupt you too. Right? So
what about how big a lead does a company have if they don't already have those components? Like, they can buy them, like you're saying, but let's say OpenAI or Anthropic buys some, or even let's go like a company like a Microsoft who has all the money, buys the components that Grok already has, or Elon already has at his disposal and is using. How much of a lead does he have over a company who just, let's say, does buy that right now and has to start from day one integrating all that with all the stuff they have?
See, I think that's not a very fair question, because it depends on how you use those resources, right? You can have all the components, right? You can look at, like, okay, if you say that, right, then Google has all the components too, right? So, but yeah, I think today, even before, I mean, not today, like, a month ago, before Grok and Grokbot and all was released, right? They have all the ingredient to surpass OpenAI and Anthropic, right? They have the talent, they have the compute, they have the money, they have everything, right? But it's how you manage, how you kind of, like enable people to create and build things, right? That I think there's something about being a more established, maybe even a publicly traded, company, that you have to answer to the public, to the shareholder, right? That shareholder tend to be somewhat short-sighted, right? They want, they're not as strategic in their perspective, right? So I think there's something to be said about which Elon does really, really well, is to direct his resources, right, or acquire his resources and kind of combine them in a way that actually propel them forward, right? He does that extremely well, and to his credit.
I would say the other thing related to that is, in 2022, the only thing there was ChatGPT. They were ahead of everybody, and now look at it, right? So, they're being surpassed in multiple ways in multiple places. So having a technology, as good as it may be, regardless, or you can want to go back to even our universe, right back when Siebel Systems, right? So it was number one by a long shot, held their own for a long time, and then Salesforce came along and Siebel got acquired, and that was the end of that. And that was only it wasn't like that was a while later, but it was a slower world back then too. But the thing is that at this point, I don't assume anyone can have a lead unless they persistently do what they have to do in a way that is unique to them, that actually also has mainstream impact. And even that ChatGPT triggered everything. But you remember, this historic strategy, fast follower, right? It's still an appropriate strategy in a lot of ways. You figure out.
Well, you have to get there's something that I have to say that's kind of a foundational kind of requirement, right? You have to have compute, right? You have to have energy, you have to have all that, right? You could acquire Cursor, but if you don't have the compute to actually process all the data that they have, right, then it's probably would not be as successful, right? So,
but he's kind of done that.
Yes.
No, he might have a lead at some point, but he might not.
It seems like it's a combination of I don't know if owner/leader who not only has the resources at his disposal, but he has like the right framework in terms of the mindset for wanting to do it, and being able to pull the right talent together. Like at the time they bought Cursor, I was like $60 billion. And now we might look back at that and say, man, what a steal was that?
Yeah. To be, and I think to the point you said, Paul, right? Basically, like once the technology is out there, eventually it becomes sort of commoditized, right? So you kind of have to keep innovating, and I think that's what Elon does extremely well, right? he actually combines things, he in novel ways and so on. He create things, right? And if you just have the LM, right? Right now, like lab out of China could produce LM that's almost as good as to some of them actually even surpass some of the frontier labs capability in some area. Not all the area, but
honestly, we can't ignore the people who are actually doing this. Elon's a lunatic also, right? So he's crazy and he's psychopath. So the problem is that actually impacts your ability to lead a market at a certain point too, right? And if we're in the abstract and he was just this scientist who is really smart about both his investments and his technology approach, he might be that guy, but at the same time he might completely be in jail for 100 years within 2 or 3 years. I doubt it.
Yeah, he's a unique.
Well, he's unique, but he's a psychopath.
Well, there's a lot of psychopaths that aren't rich,
Well,
and smart in that way. But
can't ignore that facet of.
No, I think he could wake up on the wrong side of the bed and do something really dangerous. But
in his case, he's got to someday wake up on the right side of the bed.
It's just such a weird situation that we're in with AI, where there's like a handful of people that are. I mean, Jensen Huang is another one of those that there's like this handful of people that are going to determine. It feels like that are going to determine the fate of the future of AI, and it feels a little. I'm worried about that because I don't care how smart you are. Sometimes the smartest people think they can do everything and find out that the thing that they can't do might be the thing that could cause all of us to go down. But we won't know about that until they try it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. I mean, which brings up this recently, I think just a couple of weeks ago, like there's actually this virus that's actually created by an AI, actually designed by an AI.
Jeez.
Oh my.
Yeah? Not a computer virus, actual,
a human virus?
Not a human virus, but actual living biological virus.
What?
It was actually designed by AI, and they synthesize it in the lab, and it's actually alive. It's able to replicate and reproduce.
Who synthesized it?
The lab, right? I actually
no. I mean, human beings synthesized what AI created, or AI synthesized themselves in the lab?
What the AI have created is the genome for this, which is a sequence of DNA, right? AGCT. So they basically created a genome for this they call it. It's actually a specific kind of virus called the bacteriophage. So the bacteriophage are viruses that actually infect bacteria. Okay, so they're not human virus. They don't infect human. And they explicitly, like state that in their training of their version of language model, right? Basically, it's a language of genomic sequences, right? Basically, like it's AGCNT, but in certain combination they mean certain things, right? So basically, in their language, they have 4 alphabet, the 4 basic nucleotides, and then So basically, they train it using all the gene except kind of, I would say, human infecting viruses to make sure that people don't use it to create viruses that can actually infect human. But they were able to actually create actual virus that is able to basically sort of alive, right? They can actually reproduce, and replicate and actually go and infect a bacteria. And they actually use it for biotechnology in a good way, right? Because they actually use it to infect and kill bacteria that are become drug resistant. There were people cannot deal with them.
Wow.
No longer able to kill them with traditional antibiotic, right? But now they have bacteriophages that actually just go and wipe them out. So.
And on that lovely note.
Yeah. So speaking about danger, right? So,
on that lovely note, I have to go to my basement. No, I'm kidding.
And not for the storm. It's for the virus, the AI creating virus.
AI created virus watch.
Wow, we just never know what direction these taking the lid off things go in, but they're always interesting, and
that was amazing.
Sometimes a bit scary, but that was
well.
great.
I mean, I'm just saying that there's a lot of things that it's you never know, right? Because it's a tool. It's a very powerful tool, and I think most people who built this tool build it with good intention, right?
Yeah.
But unfortunately, the problem is that there are bad players out there who want to use this tool to gain, a certain advantage or power or influence, whatever, and they will use it, to achieve whatever it means.
There's always a snidely whiplash out there.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I think there's.
Wow.
It's hard to kind of say that whether it's good or bad, right? I mean, it's just that it's a tool, right? I mean,
it's as good as the humans that use it.
That's right. Yeah. So I think that's the key thing, right? You can't. I don't think it's fair to say, well, I mean, electricity is a great invention, but it can electrocute people and kill people, so we should ban it, right? That's just, then you basically eliminate all the benefit that you could have brought as well, right? Because electricity is also very, very broad, right? I mean, yeah. Digital computer, right? It's great, but wow, it can hack and all this stuff. So we should ban digital computer, right? Then we wouldn't have been here today, right? So I think we're at the same kind of phase with these AI today, right? I mean, it's just that, yeah, there's people who's going to use it for good, and there are people who's going to use it for bad things, and we just have to make sure that the good guys have an edge, have a better AI that's able to
and doesn't that make you feel good that Elon is leading the charge right now?
Well, I think ultimately, I don't think he's an evil person, right? I mean, if he was, right, I mean, he did a lot more damage he could have done already.
Oh, he
right?
Not with AI maybe, but he did a lot more damage without AI.
Yeah, we better end this before we start a whole other thing going.
I know, but I can tell you with people.
All right.
Well, anyway, yeah. So.
As always, and I do really mean this. As always, it's always fun and insightful, and sometimes frightening when we bring on Michael Wu, taking the lid off. But no, we enjoy this, and we look forward to it.
Awesome. Again,
awesome. So thank you, and once again, let's remember next Thursday, 3:00. We are being preempted. We are preempting ourselves, basically. Doesn't sound really good, but it is what it is. So next Thursday, 3:00, not CRM Players. We're doing the pilot episode of PPN Last Call. Just like
with the crunch with Rebecca Wedeman and Lou Gossett Jr.
Yeah, that's not right.
You need to really fix that.
I gotta apologize to Dave Smith because he's a way better looking dude than that.
Oh my God, yeah.
But we will see the real Dave Smith next Thursday, along with all the other PPN show hosts. So we hope to see you as well. Maybe we'll get a cameo from Michael Wu or something. I don't know. We'll see. But until then, I was getting ready to sign off, but I got to do this before I can sign off. We can't sign off without doing this. We can't sign off without saying goodbye to Minnie.
No. Minnie, you are awesome. Hopefully we'll see you at CCE this year.
And we will see you next week. And until then, later. If I can only stop the stream because my cursor is going on. There it is. All right. We'll see you later.